What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and look what's behind me. We got the Phanteks Evolv X2, all thanks to Phanteks, because they sent it over for us to check out, and that's what we're gonna do. All right, people, Phanteks Evolv 2. Phanteks sent this over, okay? I saw this case back at Computex. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was a concept. Forgive me, Phanteks, but it's not a concept because it's here on my table. I think it's pretty cool looking because it's got 3 tempered glass panels. So you got one on your side, you have one in the front, and then you have also one on the back, so it gives you that panoramic look, like you're on top of a skyscraper, you know what I'm saying, like penthouse style. Also, another cool thing is the motherboard tray does look like it's floating. It's like goes a little over 3/4 of a way, but once you place a motherboard in there, which we're gonna do a build in and I'll show you guys, it gives you that floating look. So I think that's pretty dope too. Also, we can't forget that it's got backwards connection compatibility for your motherboard, so your Aorus Stealth, Project Zero, or BTF motherboards from Asus. So it's got that compatibility, so it gives you that little bit of a sense of a futureness, because also if you get one of those zero cable motherboards, this case is compatible with it. Okay, as far as more to the looks, well, look at this brushed aluminum from the bottom to the back side right here, and then you have brushed aluminum on the back left of this chassis, and then you have brushed aluminum on the top. So again, it gives you that modern, luxurious look, and I haven't seen a case manufacturer really do this, and I think this is very nice looking, not gonna lie. Also, Phanteks did engrave the channel's name right here on the tempered glass panel. They made it personal for your boy. I don't know if they'll do this with every customer, but I mean, you can always ask, but hey, they did this, so that's pretty cool. As far as like floating, we're talking about the motherboard tray looking like it's floating. Look at this, the bottom looks like it's floating too, so it does look like that all around the PC case. Sorry, I don't have a lazy Susan. I gotta make one actually, so I don't have to keep going behind this desk. But yeah, it looks like it's floating because all angles looks like the chassis is just in the air like Houdini. That's pretty cool. If you guys remember the Phanteks N2 Elite, they did the same thing kind of with that chassis, so I like how they brought this back, so it's pretty cool. Also, guys, with the front panel connections, we can see we got our audio in and out. We have 2 USB jacks, and then we have 2 USB ports, and then we have 1 USB-C port. So they give you some options for the front panel connections. And as far as cooling goes, I think this is also pretty cool because they give you this recessed tray area. If you guys remember the NV5, NV9, you know, they give you that like angled radiator look. Well, this one, they're making it look like it's flush. So it looks like literally like your radiator or your fans are built into this chassis. So they give you a good amount of clearance there for radiator support, AIO support, or fan support. I don't think you'd want to put an AIO down here, but up here as well, it's the same thing. So if you guys can see, there's a little recessed area right here at the top, so I'm pretty sure that's where you're going to put your AIO. They give you that nice little recessed area for 120 millimeter fans or 360 millimeter AIO, so that's pretty cool. Okay, and also you get one area on the back side for its 120 millimeter fan as well. Let's take a look at the back side real quick before we open this case up. So there's your graphics card area where you put that in, your power supply part right here. It kind of looks like it's like bars, which I'm wondering what kind of unique look that's going to be. And it looks like if you want to like install your back 120 millimeter fan, well, you see your 2 screw holes right here, but for the other side, looks like you actually gonna need something very long, like a screwdriver like this that you would get with your like air cooler. You could just pop that in, turn it, and you know, yeah, I don't know why it was built like that, but it is like that. And also you have some cable velcro, so this is also something that you're probably familiar with Phanteks that they do, just to keep things tidy when it comes to the back connection. So that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and lower this table and let's try to get into this chassis, because we're going to want to do a build in there right now, but I want to get this lowered so we can just at least try to get this as naked as possible. So now if you want to take off the tempered glass panels, the way you got to do it is you got to take off this top panel first, and it just comes off, and we can automatically see that this screw holds this tempered glass panel in place, and that screw holds that one in place. And I'm kind of curious, how are they holding this front tempered glass panel We're gonna have to figure it out. So let's go ahead and take these glasses off and we'll go from there. One glass and two glass. And I was trying to pull off this glass, but then I realized, wait, that can't be the only screw holding it. So here, there's an arrow that's pointing that way. So if we go to pop that open, what we can see right underneath there, there's another screw to take out this front tempered glass panel. And you gotta make sure you're holding it because it will fall forward and you don't want that glass to break. Alright, so we did pretty much get into this whole case. It is now naked, so you can see exactly how this case will look. And I guess I understand why they pretty much didn't bring the motherboard tray all the way to the right, because if you got a big graphics card, if you want to show off your graphics card, well, now you have the opportunity, because now from the front side it will be showing, which is pretty cool. So I think that's actually pretty dope. Now if we go to the back side of this chassis, you can see a sag bracket being held by two screws, so that means it's adjustable depending on the length and the size of your graphics card. It should work. And let's take a look at the back side here. Open it up, and yeah, if you guys remember the Phanteks version, when they showed this chassis off, you could see like this nice routed cables for the 24 pin for your CPU cables, but it looks like that was a concept, so they're not having it. But still, I like this side panel right here, this back side panel, because it nicely hides all the cables and everything. So if you are somebody who wants to really make their PCs look super clean, you're able to do that. As far as branding and logo goes, you could just see Phanteks' new logo right here at the bottom right of the back of the chassis, which is nice because if you're not so much about branding, you don't need to worry about that. Now as far as the trays go, you can see that there's two thumb screws here, one at the top over here and one here at the bottom, which once you disconnect that, which we're gonna do right now, take it apart, and you can see that if you lift this up a little bit, and then you could just slide out the bottom tray. So if you are gonna be installing fans, 120mm fans, you don't wanna go with anything other than reverse. That way it could look pretty. And the same thing goes for the top one, because if we go ahead and take that one, these thumb screws off, really easy once you slide it and take it out. There's only one position to put this in, so that you can't do anything like upside down or anything. So make sure if you are buying this case, you buy the right fans. It doesn't come with any fans, unfortunately, because I feel like now cases do come with at least one fan. This one doesn't come with fans. As far as how to get to your PCI tabs, well, there is a little pocket area that you can just go ahead and slide off like this, which keeps things clean. So that way when you are done and you have installed your shiny new graphics card, you just pop it in like that, and hey, nobody can really see. All right, so there's only one thing left to do with this case, and that is to build in it. And that's what we're gonna do in a time lapse real quick. Let's get the Evolv X2 all pretty. the Phanteks Evolv X2 PC build is done. Okay, so really cool case. I really like the way this case looks. Let's be real with each other. Have we seen a case like this where there's glass on the side, glass on the front, and glass on the back? I think not. And I think that's what made this case very unique compared to the other cases. I also love the way they have these fans flushed into the bottom chamber as well as the top chamber. It gives it that look that these fans are pretty much built into the system, which I think is pretty sick, okay? Also, I did opt out with going a super all white build because I felt like it was going to take it away from the floating effect. So I wanted to give it some contrast because think about it, if you have a white chassis, a white motherboard, a white GPU, does it really look like it's floating? I don't think so. So that's why I went with the black and white look. And also I decided to turn off these bottom set of fans as far as the LED goes and the top set LEDs because I wanted to keep it very minimal, and I feel like that actually did a good job. So we do have some illumination on this chassis. We have the RAM 6, we have the GPU right there, and we have the bottom strip, middle strip, and top strip on this case. Okay guys, now there's also some things that you guys got to know about this chassis. It is pretty limited when it comes to the way you want to install components, and what I mean by that is, you see that AIO right there? I didn't have a way to install the AIO on the right side. So if you are looking to build this system, okay, inside this case, and you want your AIO tubes to come from here to there, natively it's not going to happen because these railings lock into the left. I'm sure there's going to be some people that are going to try to do it and actually mod this out so they can have their AIO tubes come out to the right into the case. But I also feel like they did that because they didn't want to really take away from that empty center. And that is the focal point of this case to me, is having this area empty, because that's what makes it look different, right? So I get it, Phanteks, but it would have been nice if they at least gave us the option to do that. Also, I feel like when I saw this case back at Computex, I felt like the motherboard had more of a floating look, and yeah, this one doesn't give you so much of that floating look. So it looks like they did redesign that motherboard tray, which is a shame because I really liked the one I saw at Computex. But it's cool. I mean, we did throw black components in there, so we did give it some contrast. And also, look at that. So there is a pocket right there, if you guys can pretty much see, where those AIO tubes can get tucked in. And they did that because I'm thinking they did that was first keep it clean looking, and also for there to be no interference with the AIO tubes in the rear 120. I decided not to install a rear 120. You obviously could do a rear 120, but I decided to opt out because I wanted to keep the fans only to 6 fans, okay? I mean, not including the one on the AIO, but yeah, I wanted to opt out on the fans, putting one back there just because I wanted to just keep it very minimal. And as you can tell, that's why I turned off these LEDs at the bottom row and the top row. But yeah, you guys can install a 120 back there. I just didn't. I really like the way the case came out. The brushed aluminum at the top, the side, the bottom. I mean, it just looks really luxurious, and especially like I have not seen a chassis where there's glass. I mean, I have with Corsair. I believe it was like the 5000D or something like that. But yeah, I've seen glass, I've seen tempered glass panels on the back, but nothing to this effect. And I think Phanteks really, you know, did a good job on that sense. It does look modern, but again, there are some things you just need to keep in mind when you're building in this. I mean, you are getting a very futuristic looking case. I'm not gonna lie, the fact that it looks like the bottom is floating, the fact that the fans look flushed into the system, you got that nice brushed aluminum on the top, the bottom, the sides, it just gives it the nice look. And I really think there's going to be some people out there that are really going to be interested in building in this case. You just got to keep in mind some of the limitations that you're able to you know, you can't avoid when you're building in this, okay? Also, sag bracket right there, also brushed aluminum, holds your GPU up. Just keep in mind that if, you know, every GPU is built different, that sag bracket could interfere with the bottom fan of your GPU. Now this is adjustable, so if you do want to adjust the sag bracket, you know, bring it up, bring it down, you're able to do that. There's 3 spaces to actually install it into, so I think that's pretty dope as well. But overall, this build came out really nice. I am pretty surprised with it. Again, if I were you guys, you know, and you want that floating look, if you're gonna go with a black case, try not to go with a black motherboard, because I think it'll take away from the floating look. Do some kind of contrast, because it's really hard to have any contrast with all the same white pieces or all black pieces. Speaking of black and white pieces, the black version of this case does go for $149 and the white version does go for $159. We all know that white components are a little bit more expensive just because they don't build so much, they don't make so much of it, and it's harder to make. So $159 for the white, $149 for the black, which I think is priced competitively compared to other cases. I think that's going to really shake up the market a little bit. But yeah, this here is the Phanteks Evolv X2. Definitely upgrade from the original Evolv. Looks nice, looks luxurious, and I really enjoyed building in this system. Let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about the X2 Evolv? Will you guys get this for your next PC build, or just in general, what do you think about this PC case? Could Phanteks, and the LED lights just went out, could Phanteks have done it differently? And if they could have, let me know in the comment section how they could have. Much appreciate to everybody that tuned in for this video. Make sure you subscribe for more content coming your way. And as always, guys, I will catch you on the next one.